Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so the new Speaker of the House, Maga Mike Johnson, made public all the January 6th tapes, and he did it on a website, a web server that's accessible to everyone, and it's getting a lot of activity because I went there today to look at some of the videos, and it was overloaded with activity. I wouldn't say it crashed, but it was not working the way it was yesterday because word is starting to spread about the site. And this is the weekend. I did a live stream on YouTube on Sunday morning, and I went over what I think are the most shocking and disturbing of the new batch that's been revealed so far. People are going to be going through these tapes for months and years, and we're going to be finding things new and shocking and more shocking all the time. But as of right now, there were a couple that I thought were the most important. In particular, the ones where the one tape that I focus in on right now is the one where the two Capitol Police escort the one guy out and uncuff him and let him go. It's very disturbing. The guy looks like a federal agent. All right, so there's a new poll out, though, about the January 6th event. And this is an unbelievable result. I mean, this is like we're getting real news for the first time in a long time. We got the tapes, now we got this poll, and this is from Rasmussen, which is a credible polling organization. The latest Rasmussen reports national telephone and online survey finds that 65% of likely U.S. voters think it's likely that undercover government agents helped provoke the so-called January 6th riot, including 46% who say it is very likely. 26% don't believe it's likely the riot was provoked by government agents, including 12% who think it is not at all likely. In late February, before Tucker Carlson aired his one video on Fox News, the numbers were much different. I'm not going to go through those right now, but it was 61 overall after Tucker released his, and it's gone up 4 points. But likely U.S. voters is who's surveyed here. Likely is the most scientific of all when it comes to polling. You have likely, registered, and Americans. And likely voters is the most scientifically accurate polling sample of voters. So if 65% of likely voters believe that the January 6th event was instigated by undercover federal agents, that means a lot of Democrats are openly believing that.
Yeah.
Okay, the number's too high. That's not just Republicans. It's shocking that the Democrat voters are waking up to it, and that's a good thing.
The Democrats that are hardcore, they're just going to come out and say one of two things: that it's encouraging conspiracy theories, or that it proves there was a real insurrection. They're going to see what they want to see and believe what they want. But 65% of Americans, likely voters, I think that's huge, and I think that says a lot that even some Democrats can reasonably see are believing what they see with their own eyes and not even denying that.
Yeah. Now, because I think we got to mention it because it just happened, is Rosalind Carter died, yes. 96 years old. And President Carter is still alive. He's in hospice.
Yeah.
And, Rosalind Carter and Jimmy Carter, all of the situations that we have in this country and in this world that are problems connected to Iran, like this war that's going on with Israel being attacked by the Palestinian terrorists, that's all Jimmy Carter's doing. We had Iran under control with the Shah. Jimmy Carter screwed that up, and the Ayatollah Khomeini took over, and since that, the Iranians have been funding all the terrorism around the world.
Yep.
And I know Rosalind Carter was just the first lady, not the president. But I'm curious to see how the media, when they talk about the Carters this week, if they make any discussions around that. If it wasn't for Jimmy Carter's screw up, most of the terrorism around the world would not be going on because Iran would be under. The Shah of Iran was a CIA asset. We controlled him. Mm-hmm. And we lost that when the Ayatollah took over. And and the thing about Rosalind Carter, I mean, I remember when Jimmy Carter was president, but it's a blur because at our age, it was a blur. Yeah, we were alive.
I just remember my parents hated him and waiting in gas with my mom for 3 hours on Broward Boulevard and University Drive. I remember there was a Shell gas station, and we were there about 2.5, 3 hours just to get gas. And my mom had worked all day, and she was really tired. She was a single mom, just newly single, and she was just like, blah, blah, Carter this, Carter, that's all I knew. And my parents both couldn't stand him. Nobody liked the guy.
No, I remember him being president.
Did anybody love Jimmy Carter? Look at Reagan. He beat him. He won almost every state except one. Georgia, I think.
The only thing I remember about Jimmy Carter really standing out was, of course, the Iranian hostages.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, that was a big thing. I remember that big time. And everybody always talking about peanuts and peanut farmers. Yeah. And, one thing about Jimmy Carter, when he left the office, when he left the White House, he was bankrupt. I heard him talking about this. And I saw an interview with him after he left. And he said, a lot of people don't know this, but the president has to pay for all the food in the White House. They don't get free government food. He was like complaining.
They all leave the White House rich.
Yeah, he did not. I'm sure he made money later.
He did a lot with help with Habitat for Humanity.
Yeah.
And he did put them on the map. So that was a good thing that he did.
Yeah.
I know he hates Trump.
Oh, yes.
And
he hates Trump.
I think what's going to happen in the next election, especially with this is why they didn't want you to see the footage, was because they don't want you to see the truth. And let me tell you, now they want another committee to investigate the original J6 committee. I'm all for that because they freaking lied. They manipulated evidence and presented something to the American people, Liz Cheney, and they knew what they were doing. But I think what's going to happen in the next election, Biden is so hated, people are just not going to show up and vote for him. They might not like Trump because I don't think Democrats can make that change. They just don't have it in them. Maybe some, but they're just not going to vote. They're just going to not show up for him or vote for RFK. But some might vote for Trump, but he's not going to get those numbers driven by Trump hatred like he had before, because now their hatred is focused on him because he's screwing up the world so bad. And I really don't think Biden cares. I don't think he even knows what day it is half the time. So I don't think he even gives a damn what's going on.
No, he doesn't.
He's been president. He's enriched himself and his family. That's obvious. We have evidence of that. And I really just don't think he's not going to drop out. I've said this all along. He's not going to drop out. No. They can impeach him. He's still not going to drop out.
No,
this guy's never going to leave.
He's not.
They're stuck with him. They're going to have to do something at the convention, and I don't think they're going to do that.
I know people, they have this fantasy it's going to be Newsom and all this stuff. Joe Biden doesn't care what anybody thinks. Who is it that's got this rant against him now? Cardi B or something?
Cardi B.
Cardi B.
Can't really play it because she curses and says the N-word through the whole thing. But she's really upset because, in her own unique way, because she lives in New York, I guess, or she's from New York, and she said the city is getting major budget cuts of like $150 million for schools, sanitation, public libraries, and other things. And because, she said, but we're funding 2 wars. Well, there's also an illegal problem with illegals that are straining that budget. Right. So that's an example of Americans having to be put last in line because of other things going on that, you know what I mean? Which is not our tax dollars are to help fellow Americans.
Yeah.
So she's not happy.
So Biden doesn't care what anybody thinks. He spent his entire life, half a century in the Senate. They always have low approval ratings. He's been a crook his whole life beyond imagination. And look, he's the president. So he doesn't care what anyone thinks. He's never had any consequences for negative opinions about him. And he's not going to start caring now. Now, I want to play this audio. This was from Bill Maher's show on HBO. He had Donna Brazile on. And for those that don't remember Donna Brazile, she's been around forever. She was Al Gore's campaign manager in 2000, and she's a big Democrat.
She's the one who cheated on the debate and gave Hillary the questions ahead of time.
In the Trump debate,
she has no integrity.
It was the CNN debate between Trump and Hillary.
Yeah, and then she got fired by CNN for it.
Yeah, and then hired by Fox.
Exactly.
Yeah, so whatever.
now I don't know where she is.
Fox got rid of her. She's on. Last time I saw her, she was on one of those Sunday shows. But anyway, she's on with Bill Maher's HBO show, and they're talking about Vivek Ramaswamy, who I don't like, I don't trust. And then there's this exchange that happens. I'll play it, and then we'll talk about it. This is Donna Brazile and Bill Maher
And Vivek needs to just shut the hell up and go home. I'm tired of it.
We all hate Vivek. Okay. It's Vivek. Vivek.
Well, whatever. Vivek.
Whatever. Would you say that about other
Donna,
actors?
I'm Donna. Vivek, is it Vivek Ramaswamy? Ramaswamy?
Ramaswamy.
Thank you so much. I learn so much when I come on this show.
I know.
Vivek needs to go home.
I agree.
He runs it.
I just feel like there's something wrong with everybody refusing to learn to say his name.
Vivek.
I just feel there's a little racism there. There's just a little. Vivek, I'll say it. Okay, all right. I'm just saying.
Okay. A little racism going on. No, he's got a funny first name and a funny last name. Nobody's ever seen names like this. And I say Vivek, and I want to continue to say it, Vivek.
I think it's really weird that Bill Maher chose that thing to point out with her. Either he doesn't like her or he is a really closeted conservative.
He likes Vivek.
And for him to make an issue out of that,
It's a little petty.
I don't think she said his name that bad. Vivek, a lot of people say it that way.
Yeah.
For him to point that out to her and humiliate her like that and call her basically a racist
It's very strange.
is very interesting to me. What was his motivation behind doing that?
Of all things to call her out on.
Yeah. Why
it's weird.
even point that out? I think he's really anytime you hear him talk, he sounds so conservative.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's a closeted conservative.
Oh, yeah.
He's afraid because of his job.
Well, he hates Christians. He's an atheist.
He's an atheist.
So that's a problem.
But
for
he
him, too.
attacks more liberals than conservatives these days. And I think he did that to humiliate her and make her look stupid. Bill Maher's very sharp and he's very quick. He's one of the quickest guys I've ever seen on TV. I mean, he's always got to come back. He's very good.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't match what's with him very, very well and do well. He's just very smart.
Yeah,
and that's the truth. And for him to point that out when she said his name the way everybody says it, Vivek, and then him to correct her like that, like people used to do with Kamala, I thought it was very weird for him to do that.
It's not. I say Kamala, but they say you're supposed to say it a different way.
I don't think it's racist
Kamala?
if you mispronounce somebody's name.
Yeah.
If you have a weird name, how is that racist? If everybody pronounces it that way, how is she being? I'm not trying to defend her, but this is just a weird battle.
The fact that Bill Maher finds it so important to take on one of the top Democrats, Donna Brazile, and defend Vivek Ramaswamy is another reason not to support Vivek Ramaswamy. When he's got liberals defending his name pronunciation.
It's weird
like
that he chose that battle, and I don't understand why he did that. Why he chose to defend him.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you so much. You Patreon supporters, you make this show possible. Your support is greatly appreciated. And if you would like to support the program by becoming a Patreon supporter, there is a link in this episode description as well as every episode description. There's also a direct link on my website to our Patreon page on my website, briancraigshow.com. And there's many perks and benefits to becoming a Patreon supporter. One of those is for our top Patreon supporters who get a live on-air thank you shout-out on each and every episode. So the names I'm going to share with you now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, ETW, Chuck, D, Pamela, Rick, Nick, Wesley, Macho, Mike P, Carlos, Paulette, John, ActicFox, Heather, David, Melissa, and Maria in Texas. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you all. Now, we're going to take our first break. When we get back, oh, man, Donald Trump said something over the weekend that shocked me. I'm shocked. He talked about something for the first time and really set the record straight on something huge, and I've never heard him comment on it, and I've never heard him speak this way. I'm going to share that with you when we get back from this break. Embark on a culinary journey that will tantalize your taste buds and elevate your overall well-being with the Mediterranean Diet Cookbook for Newbies 2023 from Connoisseur of Flavors and author Donald Emmerich. Available right now on Amazon. The Mediterranean Diet Cookbook for Newbies 2023 is your compass to a healthier lifestyle, filled with 120 recipes thoughtfully designed for beginners. Each dish is a celebration of flavor and health. It's more than just a diet. It's a way of life. With this must-read book, you'll embrace vitality and have boundless energy with easy-to-follow recipes and a meticulously crafted meal plan. There's also a handy weekly shopping list that takes the guesswork out of your grocery shopping. Enjoy hearty breakfast, satisfying main dishes, and sweet desserts. This is perfect for any dietary need, including meat, poultry, seafood, and vegetarian options. It's time to transform your eating habits and embrace a healthier, more flavorful lifestyle. Order your copy of the Mediterranean Diet Cookbook for Newbies 2023 from author Donald Emmerich on Amazon. Available in Kindle, paperback, hardcover, and Kindle Unlimited. Order your copy right now. Get ready for an adrenaline-pumping journey into a world filled with intrigue and espionage from author Billy Wade. The sequel to his book, Fair Winds of Death, is now available on Amazon. Fair Winds of Deceit. It's October 1971, 4 months since the Navy's most prominent scientist disappeared without a trace. He left behind a top-secret submarine defense project that can't be completed without him. He must be found. Lieutenant Commander Marcus Colt, a highly decorated officer, is unlike any other agent in the NIS. He's become the Navy's go-to agent for finding leads and solving cases no other agents can. With the clock ticking to find the scientist and being distracted by his beautiful new partner, he's forced to deal with a series of murders and assaults that stretch his team thin. With lies and complexities everywhere, the team find themselves targets in an even deeper plot, a deadly plot that takes them to Italy. Lieutenant Commander Colt just might have what he needs to succeed if he can keep his team alive long enough to solve it. With unexpected allies and danger around every corner, Lieutenant Commander Colt races against time to crack the case and keep his team alive. Fair Winds of Deceit from author Billy Wade is available on Amazon. Order your copy right now. This book is perfect for book clubs. Fair Winds of Deceit from author Billy Wade on Amazon. From author Stephanie Tayo comes a book that takes place in Cornwall, Ontario, where it seems that dreams can come true and life feels uncomplicated. But one young woman's world is about to be forever transformed. Love Beyond Age. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other online booksellers. In Love Beyond Age, meet Quinn. She's a determined soul with aspirations of becoming a psychologist. She shares a simple life with her dad, saving every penny for her dreams. But life has a way of throwing unexpected curveballs. Everything changes when she crosses paths with James, whose presence by the river ignites a connection neither can deny. As their university journeys begin, Quinn finds herself torn between her deepening connection with the mysterious James and her growing feelings for her competitive friend Jasper. Secrets are unveiled, revelations come to light, and Quinn discovers a shocking truth about James' hidden secret. As danger lurks on the horizon, relationships are put to the test, and old emotions resurface. A love triangle takes hold, pushing Quinn to the brink. She faces a choice that will shape her future and define her path. Love Beyond Age from author Stephanie Tayo is a story of love, secrets, and choices that will tug at your heartstrings. Available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Apple Books, and other online booksellers. Order your copy right now and be transported to a world where romance is intertwined with the complexities of life. Love Beyond Age from author Stephanie Tayo. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Hey guys, welcome back. This is Kathy. And before Brian continues, I wanted to mention that if you go to his Facebook group, Brian Craig Show, I put the link to the J6 footage that was released. And you said you have to be on Google Chrome. to watch that.
It doesn't really work on
or Firefox, I guess.
It doesn't work on Safari.
Yeah, Safari's not the best for opening things like that.
It won't work on Safari.
But the link is there, so in the Facebook group. So if you open that, try to do it on Chrome or Firefox, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's the link.
I had to use Chrome this morning.
Yeah, to help you see. And it's got all there listed, entitled, and everything there. So I'm sure he released like thousands and thousands of hours of footage yesterday. So that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that was one of the reasons they wanted to get rid of Kevin McCarthy, was because he refused to do it. Big freaking coward. Mm-hmm. And this guy did it right away. So good for him.
Yeah, no, it's really good. You guys should go there and watch it. Okay, so Trump spoke a lot over the weekend, and he talked about the Russian dossier. Now, before I play the audio, the Russian dossier, the details of it are never really discussed. I mention it whenever it comes up because it's so absurd. With the Russian dossier, now the Russian dossier is what they built this whole Russia lie on.
Yep.
That and here's what the Russian dossier of Christopher Steele that Christopher Steele gave to John McCain, that John McCain gave to Comey. Okay. It says that Donald Trump stayed the night in Moscow. He stayed in the same hotel room that Obama stayed in Moscow, had Russian prostitutes come to the room, urinate on the bed while he pleasured himself watching, and that
so
Putin
ridiculous.
has video with audio
Oh my gosh.
of this and was using that as blackmail material to control President Trump. I know it's so
dreamed
stupid.
up that story. Who dreamed? I would love to know who dreamed that up.
Not a very creative person. That's so absurd.
Well, it just shows you how perverted and sick. This is probably something they like to do.
Yeah.
Have hookers pee on
Who
them.
thinks of that?
Who thinks of that? Well, they wanted obviously to be a story that they could make Trump look bad and hurt his family and his wife and all this stuff. But the truth always comes out in the end. And the Bible talks about that, how God shines a light on in dark places. Mm-hmm. And the truth always comes out. And I think Trump has realized this all along. And I've said this, I think he's more faithful than people realize, because I think he's known, look, the truth is going to come out, just relax. Mm-hmm. And I am predicting, I could be wrong, I think one or two of these court cases against him are going to be dropped now. Because I think after this footage is released, look what happened. The shaman got out. I think his one court case tied to this
in D.C.,
I think might be dropped over this. And I think there's going to be a lot of public pressure. Things are falling apart. It's important for everybody to see the truth with their own eyes and not have it washed for them. And that's what the media and everybody likes to do. So
So let me get to this. So President Trump in this clip, he's talking about the Russian dossier. And that's why I told you what the Russian dossier said, so that the clip will have some context. And here it is. This is this is the first time he's talked about it like this, at least. Listen.
A persecution of a political candidate. They see it as a continuation of the greatest witch hunt of all time. That's what it is. This is the greatest witch hunt. It started with Russia. Remember that? He was with 4 hookers. You think that was good that night to go up and tell my wife, it's not true, darling, I love you very much? It's not true. Actually, that one she didn't believe, because she said he's a germaphobe. He's not into that, He's not into golden showers, as they say they called it. He's not. I don't like that idea. No, I didn't. I thought that would be a big problem. I was going to have a rough night, but that one she was very good on. She said, no, you're okay on that one.
You're okay on that one.
Well, it's just
what
so
about all the
stupid.
other ones? It is so stupid.
It's just such a stupid thing to say or claim or promote, and they have built so much around that stupid juvenile thing. The urination thing, though, where that comes from are the Russians, and I'll tell you how I know that to be true is I've done a lot of reading on Russian versions of World War II on the Russians did a lot of interviews with captured Nazis, senior Nazis, and when they were talking about Hitler, all the Russian intelligence reports say that he would have women do things with urination.
I learned this in high school.
It's some big thing.
In my AP history senior class. I remember the teacher telling me
this. It's some big thing with the Russians about the urination. I don't know why they're obsessed with that to try to discredit people. But if you ever hear anything about urination, it comes from Russia.
Well, that's probably why they made that story. They probably, when they made up this narrative, had to connect it to Russia somehow. So maybe the person who thought it up was like, well, Russians are into this, so let's make it more believable and make it like the hookers are Russian because we want to make the hookers Russian. So let's make them do an act that's like a Russian thing, I guess. You know what I mean? Is that a thing in Russia? I don't know.
Yeah, it is. They talk about it a lot.
So to defame somebody, that's like their go-to. But you know, the truth is coming out.
It sure
and
is.
It's going to be a very hard pill for some people to swallow. And you might have friends that are liberal that refuse to believe that that they've been lied to for the last 6 years of their life. And Joe Rogan even said this should scare people.
Yeah,
the lengths but Trump's a bad guy, but they will lie and manipulate and get people all worked up and redirect you and make up evidence and make up a whole event and all this stuff just to stop one person who they say is so horrible.
Exactly.
But everything they're doing is okay.
Yeah,
that should scare you as an American. A lot of people will say, "Well, Trump's so bad, it's justified." It's not justified. What has he done that's so horrible? What has he done that's even 10 times, even close to what these people have done?
Nothing.
I mean, really think about it. I mean, it's crazy.
Just what Biden did in Afghanistan alone. He left behind thousands of millions, maybe. I don't know how many. Thousands and thousands of Afghans that worked with the United States for 20 years.
Yep.
And they left all their contact information in the embassy that we left behind, all, with their home addresses and phone numbers.
Crazy.
So the Taliban tracked them all down and has murdered them.
Yep.
Just that alone, I mean, is enough that this guy should be impeached and removed from office. That's just a crime against humanity. Over and over again in different areas. I mean, Biden's done a lot more wrong, but that alone is outrageous.
Yeah, I see more and more people coming around and looking back, and hindsight is always 20/20. And that's the good thing about Trump running again and having this gap of time. And I always believe that maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because it gives people a chance to look back and a little bit of time to process everything and to get to know the truth. And I think that's what really is important. It gives you perspective.
So today, Trump,
which is good. Perspective is always good.
Trump went to the southern border in Texas today, and he got endorsed by Governor Greg Abbott. Let me play. This is Greg Abbott endorsing Trump. I've not heard this yet. I'm just going to play this. I've not heard this. We were watching.
Sarah Huckabee endorsed him.
We were watching the event, but I was waiting for Trump, and we were doing, and I'd muted the TV. We were watching on right side when Greg Abbott was speaking, and it happened while we had Greg Abbott muted, but I missed it. But we're going to play it now. Here it is.
We need a president who's going to secure the border. We need a president who's going to restore law and order in the United States of America, not letting these criminals ransack over the stores that you see images of almost nightly. We need a president who's going to restore world peace as opposed to this outbreak of warfare under Joe Biden. We need Donald J. Trump back as our president of the United States of America. I'm here today to officially proclaim my endorsement for Donald J. Trump to be president of the United States of America again. So join me in giving a Texas-sized welcome to President Donald J. Trump, the former and future president of the United States of America.
Okay. So then Lee Greenwood with the Trump anthem. So, I mean, that's... I was watching this on Right Side, and I had the Right Side Broadcasting on YouTube, and I had the chat on, and even though we had Greg Abbott muted, I was reading the chat, and people kept saying Abbott's a rhino, Abbott's a rhino. I don't know. I know he's done the right thing on the southern border, and
where does that even come from?
I don't know. Maybe he is, but when it comes to the border, which is the only thing I care about involving Greg Abbott, he's done such a great job that he's even gotten the mayor of New York City, who's probably going to go to prison over this. He's gotten the mayor of New York City to support finishing the wall and securing the border, and now they raided him and his campaign people, and the New York mayors could very well go to prison. I mean, they're getting him on some pretty hefty stuff here. And Greg Abbott did that. And it's not just New York City. Other big liberal cities like Chicago have come around about closing the border and finishing the wall, and that's all been Greg Abbott.
That's what he had to do. He had to take it to their own doorstep.
Well, it's a big accomplishment that he did.
This is what we're dealing with. Why should Texas, just because of geography, swallow that whole problem? Just because they happen to be along in Arizona, and even us, we have issues too. Why should, just because we happen to be along the southern border, we deal with that too with illegals that come here. Not as bad, obviously, but he's just letting them know, look, this is a nation problem. And the nation needs to deal with it, not just me. You know what I mean? I don't want this here. We didn't ask for this.
Now, I think what Greg Abbott's done with turning these Democrats around is amazing. And if you remember when Abbott first started sending buses to New York and other cities, the media were laughing at Greg Abbott. It's just a few buses. What's this going to do? And look what's happened. He's turned Democrats around on the southern border. And whatever your personal opinions are about him being a rhino, maybe you're right. But what he's done on the southern border, you can't argue with that.
I'd like to know why they call him a rhino. What happened? Did he?
I don't know.
Somebody might say something or do one thing you don't like. They're a rhino. I mean, you have to look at the big picture. And he just endorsed Trump.
Exactly.
So that's important too.
Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who I interviewed last week, which I think was one of the best interviews I've ever done. Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is just breaking, by the way. Marjorie Taylor Greene is now calling for a new January 6th committee. And she wants to subpoena all the members of the previous January 6th committee to this committee.
That's a good idea.
And, Congress, I know a lot of people are saying that Liz Cheney and these committee members should go to prison for what they did. I'm not disagreeing with that. But Congress makes the laws, and Congress makes the laws to allow Congress to do lawless things. And a member of Congress cannot slander someone no matter what they say while they're on the floor of Congress. And there's other things too. So there may not be a way to prosecute them for what they did, but they selectively picked videos to fit a narrative as opposed to showing the truth of what happened on January 6th.
And
they
all
should
these
go to
guys
prison.
that have been locked up just for,
they're going to be pardoned by Trump.
They're
going to be pardoned.
It's an absolute disgrace what these people, like I said, I don't understand. I haven't seen Trump do anything that is so dangerous at all that validates this kind of action by these people. I don't understand why in their mind, he is so dangerous. Everything they have done is 100 times worse than anything he could ever even dream up of doing. It's a betrayal. It's treason, really, when you think about it, of what they've done, lying to the American people.
With that committee,
things, making up evidence, editing things, and presenting it to people, they're a disgrace.
If you remember, they brought in that Good Morning America producer, and I mean, why did they bring in a TV producer to go through the tapes? We knew what they were doing, we knew what they were all about, and I think they should all go to jail myself. But I don't think that's a realistic thing. I don't think that's going to happen.
Probably not.
But that does not mean. Okay, that does not mean that they're not going to be called in to testify. In particular,
they'll have to deal with the court of public opinion.
Yeah, in particular, Liz Cheney. I mean, I remember when they did their primetime thing, that line committee, and they came in and people were all the networks broke in, and then they just gave these long-winded speeches and had no evidence.
I mean, if you're a Democrat or you're a never-Trumper, how do you feel about being lied to like this?
Exactly.
Are you cool with this?
No way.
Are you cool with being lied to about this, about the Russia collusion, about the documents, everything? How do you know that you can even trust anything anymore?
You can't trust these people.
You can't. And you're okay with that just because they're Democrats?
Exactly.
I mean, what's wrong with you?
Exactly.
That's insanity to me.
Now, I want to tell people about the mighty Maga Lion. This is the hottest Christmas gift of the season. It is available exclusively through us at mightymagalion.com. There's a link in the description on whatever platform you're listening to us on, YouTube or one of the podcast studio, one of the podcast players, we're all there. There's a link at every one, mightymagalion.com. Or you can just go to the website, mightymagalion.com. These are a limited edition item. You've seen them. I show them on YouTube all the time. And Kathy and I mail them all out personally. Each Mighty Maga Lion that you receive has been touched by Kathy and me. We have an assembly line.
That's true.
We have an assembly line.
Sit there in the office and do that together.
And pack them together one by one. Yeah. And Kathy,
they're very cute.
Kathy puts a personalized card in each one that we send out to you guys. And, the Mighty Maga Lion is the only Trump-inspired merchandise that has the MAGA hat on it. And the process,
it's a lion. Everybody else has a teddy
just like
bear.
Trump. That's right. And,
coolest.
The process we went through, we designed this, Kathy and I, with Dee, and who's one of our Patreon supporters as well as one of the moderators on my YouTube channel. And the company that manufactured them, they sent us a prototype that we had to look at and make changes and have it made just perfect. And there it is. MightyMagaLion.com is where you can find it. Now, if you buy more than one, you get a discount on multiple if you buy more than one. And they make a great Christmas gift for everyone.
Absolutely.
For
Christmas is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely get it.
Even for yourself.
Get it out in time. Exactly. Definitely order it soon. Because I think we're going to have a really big rush of orders.
Wow.
And it's a two-man band here. We're going to do the best we can for sure to get them out to you guys.
We get them out pretty fast.
Pretty fast, but definitely don't wait.
In fact, after the podcast today, Kathy and I we're gonna box up more Mighty Maga Lions that are being shipped out tomorrow when I get off the air.
We don't have like a huge team assembled here.
No.
So don't wait too long if you want to get it by Christmas is what I'm telling you. Don't wait. You can still order, and I'm telling you, we will try so hard to get them out if we have any left, but do not wait. If you want them for Christmas, which I know you do, they're amazing. They're adorable. Order now. Do not hesitate. I'm telling you. Yep. You won't regret it. They're really cute.
MightyMagaLion.com. That's MightyMagaLion.com. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll take our last break and be right back.
From master storyteller, author Billy Wade, comes a sequel to his acclaimed 2022 military crime novel, Fair Winds of Death, with Fair Winds of Deceit, now available on Amazon. In Fair Winds of Deceit, it's October 1971. Forget everything you know about modern investigations. In the world of the Naval Investigative Service, it's a game of wits, intuition, and sometimes just sheer luck. There's no DNA, no internet, just good old-fashioned detective work. In Fair Winds of Deceit, Lieutenant Commander Marcus Colt is handed a cold case. He's the Navy's last hope to find a missing scientist that's crucial to national defense. With a trail that's gone cold, can Colt uncover the truth? From the corridors of power in the United States to the scenic alleys of Italy, danger is lurking in every corner. With an escalating series of murders and getting deeper and deeper into a conspiracy, will Colt and his partner in training, Ensign Wendy James, unravel the mystery? For Colt, it's not just about cracking the case, it's about keeping his team alive. Suspense, intrigue, and adventure are all in Fair Winds of Deceit from author Billy Wade. Available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover editions. And for a copy personally autographed by the author, visit wadepublishing.com. Unmask the truth with Fair Winds of Deceit from author Billy Wade. Order yours on Amazon. The book, Mistakes Managers Make and How Much It Costs Them, from author J.D. Straz, available on Amazon, is a series of 30 semi-autobiographical short stories. In each story, lessons are learned about how to treat people and how not to treat them. The stories are meant to promote conversation around the kitchen table. There are no swear words, no violence, no adult situations, and nothing to offend any religion. Many of the stories take place in the workplace, but apply to all human interactions. Unfortunately, these lessons are not taught in our schools, but they definitely should be. Order your copy right now on Amazon. Mistakes Managers Make and How Much It Costs Them, from author J.D. Straz. From author Donna Silvera comes a book that's a journey into the mysteries of the end times, now available on Amazon. This is your last warning. For centuries, religions have prophesied the end of days. This must-read book discusses the vivid signs that our world is nearing its destiny. Drawing on the church's authority, the book examines text, apocalyptic visions, and contemporary revelations, connecting history and culture, offering a unique perspective on prophecies, deepening comprehension and relevance. Combining combining church teachings and prophecies, This Is Your Last Warning is a comprehensive narrative of what's to come. This Is Your Last Warning from author Donna Brazile is available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback. Order your copy right now.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. You know, tomorrow is Joe Biden's 81st birthday. And, you know, this thing that they're trying to sell us in the media, oh, Trump's almost that. It's not Biden's age that is the problem. It's that he is senile and has some type of cognitive issues on top of the fact that he's a criminal. But he's obviously slipping. He can't coordinate his legs. He has some type of neurological damage because he has a difficult time coordinating his legs. And that means that the brain is not connected well, is not communicating well to the legs. You guys see him. He's checked out. It's not his age. It's his cognitive abilities.
Our dog has the same problem. She can't move
our
her back
17-year-old
legs.
dog. Yeah.
She has trouble walking. And
yeah, but our dog doesn't have the nuclear football.
No. I mean, sure, she has a little, when she gets up, you could see her legs buckle. It takes like really 30 seconds to a minute for Nina's head, like brain to register to the legs. Okay, get up and move. And they kind of just drag a little bit. She's old. I mean, that's not every old person or old dog has that problem. You see Trump and, I mean, my dad's older than Biden. My dad is as fit as a fiddle. You'd never know he was 86 years old. Honestly,
Your dad's 86?
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. It amazes me. I talk to him all the time. And I told him, I said, you don't sound any different than when you were my age. And I said, you're just as sharp as ever. And he really is. And he never forgets. He's just very sharp. He's like Trump. He never forgets anything. He doesn't stumble. And you know.
Some people are that way.
Some people are just that way. It's really not about the age. It's about and then you have people like AOC that are young and just terminally stupid.
Yeah.
So it really isn't about that. But I think people can really finally see and admit how bad Biden is at running anything.
I was watching on YouTube this morning. Kevin Nealon, remember him from Saturday Night Live?
Oh, yeah.
He has this YouTube channel where he interviews celebrities, but he goes walking with them.
I've seen that.
You ever seen that?
It's good. Yeah.
And I watch it sometimes if he has an interesting celebrity. And I was watching one today. He had Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed, and they were walking. Let me see how old Kevin Nealon is, because Carl Weathers is 75. Okay. Kevin Nealon's 70. Okay. It's hard to believe he's 70. Carl Weathers is 75. And they're walking down this trail during the interview talking. Kevin Nealon was so out of breath, like just through regular conversation. And Carl Weathers wasn't even breaking a sweat.
Yeah, I mean,
because
everybody's different.
He's 5 years, he's 75.
Yeah.
He's in better shape than me.
Yeah.
Kevin Nealon's 5 years younger than him. It's not the number. It's people, like our dog has dementia. And she has good days and bad days. Some days she stares at us. I think she forgot where she is.
She's also like blind.
Yeah.
She's got cataracts.
Yeah.
We just had a checkup with her.
Yeah. Got all kinds of problems.
She walks around and paces all day long.
But
the doctor said she's not ready.
But she doesn't have the ability to start wars and things like this, like Biden has.
Exactly. And she's probably smarter than him.
I would not be surprised
when you think about it.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. But no, so I'm curious to see how the press handled Biden's 81st birthday. And, when we were talking about Jimmy Carter earlier, I do remember when Ronald Reagan was running in 1980 against Jimmy Carter.
Yeah.
He was 69 and he was 70 on Inauguration Day. And the liberal media were talking about how he was too old at 70 to take the oath of office. And here you got a guy, and he was very fit. You go back to Ronald Reagan in 1980, and even when he left office, he was very fit and with it. And here you have Biden, who's 11 years older than Reagan was when he took the oath of office the first time in 1980, when the Washington Post, New York Times all said he was too old. Yeah. He's checked out mentally.
They have a problem with this guy. He's not going to drop out.
And he wants 4 more years, Kathy. He wants to be 86 in the White House.
He's not going to drop out. They're stuck with him. And like I said, my prediction is that 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 people are just not going to go out and vote for him at all. They're just not. They might not vote for Trump. Some of them will, but a lot of them I think are just not going to vote. Period.
They'll have low voter turnout.
There's very low voter turnout. My prediction for the Democrats on all fronts.
Oh yeah,
because that's usually what Democrats typically do. I think is when they're not happy with somebody, they never would vote for the other guy. Yeah, but they just won't vote. Yeah. At all. And Republicans too are probably that way, if they're really unhappy with somebody. Yeah, there's a lot of that. And that's what I think will happen. But this guy's not going to drop out or anything. They're stuck with him for sure. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure they're not happy. Oh yeah. You may have seen this on social media. The deep state have a new fake Nazi group. Oh, yes. It's called Blood Tribe. Now, remember, the previous one was Patriot Front. Oh, my God. Now they got Blood Tribe. And I just a couple things about this, okay? One thing I always look for with these groups, I'm surprised people don't pick out this. Look at their Nazi flags. They're brand new. They still have the Blood Tribe. There's still creases. They just came out of the package, these Nazi, flags. Where were all these Nazis, the Blood Tribe, before like yesterday? And here's these are like pop-up groups. You have like a pop-up restaurant or a pop-up store. Yeah, these are like pop-up hate groups. Yeah, pop-up fake hate groups. Yeah, that just pop up out of nowhere just for convenience sake, and then there's no effectiveness to this. I don't understand why they keep doing it. They just keep going back to their stupid old playbook. I mean, you know what I mean? They fake everything. They stage everything. Yeah. It's all about psych ops. And they think it makes a dent. I don't understand what they're trying to prove or trying to do with this. I don't either. They're not carrying Trump flags. Nobody buys it. And, what's the point? They're putting out these fake Nazis. We have these Palestinians all over the country saying things about Jews that are just god awful. And Susan Sarandon too. Yeah, the thing about this fake group, Blood Tribe, which is it's Patriot Front Part 2 or whatever they call it, whatever they call it. Here's the thing, okay? They're trying to create this narrative. They're always trying to create this narrative that white supremacists are on the rise. The Kamala Harris is biracial, right? She's black and Indian. Right. Nazis, white supremacists, if there really were active Nazi organized white supremacists in this country, they'd be doing two things right now. One, they'd be protesting everywhere Kamala Harris was because it would make them physically ill to have a minority vice president. Second, with everything that's going on with Israel right now, they would be – these guys had Nazi flags, Blood Tribe. They'd be at Jewish places around the country supporting the Palestinians. Yeah. And where were they? Where was this crew? Just walking around nowhere in particular. Oh, Wisconsin. That's right. Yeah, just walking around like here we are in Wisconsin. It's a hotbed of Jewish activity. Yeah, it's just stupid. It's not even believable. And when I see these things, I always ask myself this: how many things did we grow up learning about this country that were staged just like this? I bet a lot of the Vietnam protesting was staged too. Oh yeah, yeah, and it's really disgusting. It's a way to manipulate people to control. They use fear to control people and to force a policy that they know maybe people don't want. Exactly. And it's a way to force that because they have to justify reasons for what they do. And they use these fear tactics to have more control over your life. Exactly. And anytime, so that's why they do all this. Like with the J6, that served a lot of purposes for them, to go after Trump and to instill other things, to have more control and call us terrorists and all this stuff. Yes. That enabled them to do that, but it's all falling apart. And I think people are wise because of social media, too. People are wise to their little reindeer games. Yeah. Well, listen, we're out of time for today. We will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We will talk to you next time.